You are in my Inner Circle program. You're in Arlan's All Access and you're learning all about memberships, but you have a membership that is doing well. What can you tell us about your membership and some of the learnings that you've had?
So my membership is called La Bellevue Writers. It's something that stemmed out of a writing group that I had that I wasn't calling a membership at the time. So I started a writing group in 2020. It was going really well, very successful. So I finished my book with that writing group. There are about four other authors that finished their book with the writing group. People finished essays and articles and got tenure and promotion and finished their PhDs and things like that. So it was a successful writing program that I was not kind of organizing as a membership. And working with you helped me to see the benefits of turning it into a membership because it was something that had already been successful and doing well. But instead of me reaching out to everyone every month with like a PayPal link to say, okay, we're doing it again. Who wants to sign up again? Setting up as a membership meant that it's an automatic payment for people to do monthly payments or they can do an annual payment. So it kind of automated the payment part of it. And it took the legwork out of me feeling like I had to reach out to everyone every month. But it's something that was really successful as a writing group. And I think because people did so well in it in terms of the transformation and the outcomes with having a community, like a lot of times for writers, and it's predominantly professors, it's predominantly Black and women of color professors or former professors. So there's a certain way in which we often are expected to work in isolation, or it can be very, very alienating and not working in community. So it was very refreshing for people to be able to come together in community and write and see the positive impacts of writing together in community.
And one of the big themes in Arlen's All Access is community. We talk
Mhm,
about paid memberships or free memberships,
mhm,
but that word community is actually more important, I think.
mhm.
What does that community feel like within your membership?
So it feels like a place that I can come as a writer, right? So I'm like one of these people that I'm like, okay, I'm not only the founder of this organization and membership, but I'm someone who directly benefits from it as well. So I am no longer a professor, but I am still very much a writer. I'm working on another book now. So it's a community that I go to have a space to do my writing. It's a space where people are happy to just see other people who are doing work as well. So again, sometimes working in isolation, it can be very alienating. It can feel like you don't have anybody that you see doing what you're doing. And so I think there's something really powerful about being able to log on to Zoom and see people who are also doing the work, even if their cameras are not on, because I'm like, if you want your camera on, keep your camera on. If you want the camera off, turn the camera off. You can opt in or out of whatever parts of it work best for you. But I think there's just power in the numbers and seeing other people who are doing the work that you're also doing and knowing that you're not doing it alone and encouraging each other. So there's like the writing component of it, but I also have an optional group coaching component of it. And so people come for the writing, but they also come for like the check-ins where people are reporting like this is the progress that I'm making, or this is where I'm struggling or having a hard time. And so it's as much me coaching them as it is also peer coaching that's happening in the space. So that's really beautiful.
It sounds like you've also done a really great job of keeping things simple. You have some very high value
Mhm,
offerings within it, but it's not
mhm.
like all these different things all at once that people have to figure out. How important is
Right.
that?
I think that is important to keep it simple and also to, again, let people opt into what they want and opt out of what they don't want. So it's not a pressure to, I'm like, okay, I have a 2 hour block pretty much daily that we do in the morning and then 2 hours in the afternoon. And I'm like, if you can show up for 30 minutes, show up for 30 minutes. If you can do an hour or 90 minutes or the whole 2 hours, you can. But there's no judgment about like how long people are on there. People just come when they're able to come. Or even sometimes people are like, well, I just need the check in to have some accountability. So they might not make it to the writing that morning, but they make it to the check in. So I think having the options of like, these are the different components of it. There's the virtual writing, there's the check ins, and then there are also course suites that are available that are self paced that people can, again, opt into what works for them, opt out of what doesn't. So I think the simplicity of like what's offered as well as the low pressure of like do whatever works best for you and work the membership in whatever way works best for you is helpful for everyone.
Talk to me about pricing and the
Mhm,
number of members you have and how many
mhm.
members you want to have.
The pricing is $99 a month for people who are paying monthly, or it's $10.89 per year, which is basically like 1 month off if you pay for the full year on the front end of it. We have 22 members right now, and my goal is to get to 100 members by the end of the year, hopefully. So that would be about 25 per month between now and the end of the year.
How are you bringing in people today, those first few members and any new ones you have? Because that's a question that comes up a lot is how do
Mhm,
I get members into my paid membership,
mhm.
especially if I don't have a large audience?
So my first few members are people who I call the OGs who were in there when I first started it in 2020 and I took a break from it. And so they were very much looking for me to bring it back. And so when I announced that I was bringing it back, they were excited to get back into it. And then a few more people have come in just from referrals because people are like, okay, I'm in this writing group. I finished my book or I finished my article or I got tenure, come join us. So some of them have been referrals. And then a few people have been like from my email list or from my social media presence. But I would say the good percentage are people who are returning, who were in it before. And then I would say the next highest group would be like direct referrals from people who are already in it. And then after that, it would be like email, social media kind of connections.
And did you ever think, and you can say either way, but did you ever think that you would be making money off of a membership that you enjoy so much?
I did not. I mean, I think I just wasn't thinking of it as a membership. I wasn't thinking about it in those terms. So it's been helpful to think about it in those terms. And it is powerful. I mean, even when I was like in graduate school, I was like, I can't believe I get paid to read and write. Right. And so this is like an extension of that, even though I've stepped away from the professor position. I feel like I'm still getting compensated to do the things that I really love to do, which are to read and write myself, but also to hold space for other people who enjoy reading and writing and help them cultivate their own writing practice and writing habit and take the anxiety and the fear out of writing that a lot of people have, or the sense of not being enough. Like a lot of times, if you're a Black woman or a woman of color in the academy, it's not a space that's necessarily designed for us or affirming for us. So this becomes a space where if they're being invalidated in their department or, among students or whatever the case may be, they know they can come into this space and be affirmed as a writer and get their things done and do what they need to do again to, if they decide to stay in the academy to get tenure and promotion, or if they decide to walk away, have a kind of exit strategy for how they'll continue their writing going.
What if somebody is wanting to start a membership, but they're afraid to charge people money or to charge over a few dollars a month? What can you say to the value that people are getting and just generally speak to that fear?
So I would say for me, one of the ways that I was able to overcome or maybe bypass that fear is that I actually started this group out for free when I first started it. And because Black women and women of color tend to be so generative and generous, they kind of got together and raised money to send me money, right? So they were just like, you can't do this for free. Like you're holding a lot of space, whereas this is very valuable to us. So it started out with them kind of doing a donation-based thing where everybody who was in it just kind of put into the pool and then they sent me some money. And then from there, it kind of encouraged me to like, okay, I need to go ahead. Like this is time, this is energy, this is effort that I'm putting in. There's value that they're getting out of it. And so that helped me become more comfortable with charging something for it. And then when I saw that, okay, it's really a high touch space where they are connecting with me almost daily. I usually am on there from Monday through Thursday. So they have like the writing space that I'm holding, again, in addition to the group coaching, in addition to the courses. So I feel like there's a lot of value that's being offered for what's being charged. And that's not just me feeling that, it's the feedback that I'm getting from the group in terms of what transformations and values they get out of it. And so part of it is checking in with the group. Like early on, I emailed and said, okay, what brought you to the group? What were the challenges that you were dealing with? How has this group helped address those challenges? What transformations have you experienced? And people were very generous also in just giving me that feedback to let me know what the space meant for them.
Makes a lot of sense. So having that early feedback from the beginning is really helpful later on in the process. I'm going to ask you to use the same questions for you when it comes to Arlen's All Access, because I know
Mhm.
people watching want to be part of it, but they don't know if it's for them. They don't know
Mhm.
if it's necessary to do their
Mhm.
membership. What can you say to that?
So one of the things that I appreciate about Arlen's Access is you're very good at breaking things down into smaller parts. So it's not something that feels just so overwhelming where it's just like, oh my goodness, where do I start? Like it's broken down into smaller pieces that are very accessible, that again, you can work at your own pace. And I think you're very good in the space of saying like, okay, if you're just getting here, you're not behind, don't feel overwhelmed, like go to whatever section works best for you, or you may want to start here to build up to there. So I think you're very good as a teacher in this space of like breaking things down into baby steps that feel doable and giving people just the roadmap of like, how do you move forward in terms of even like identifying what your branding is or identifying what your unique
Yeah.
value proposition.
Hmm.
And so the kinds of prompts and questions that you offer are really helpful for people figuring that out for themselves as they move forward. And you're very good at saying, okay, like this, like literally this is what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So you can like not just do what I say, but do as I do. Like I'm demonstrating for you how I've built this so that you can also build something. I think that's very helpful.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. If someone is watching this and they are a professor or there's someone who wants to write a book, how do they find your membership?
So you can reach me through my website, which is my name, katherinebell.com. So it's KATHRYNBELLE. And there is a link to the membership on my website.
Thank you so much. This has been super helpful, and I'm so excited to see what happens next. We'll check in with you again to see how things are going.
Thank you. I appreciate the encouragement. I'm a high achiever, so I like getting the gold star. So I appreciate the positive affirmation I've gotten for you, as well as in the group. I will also say Arlen's All Access. Everybody's a cheerleader in there. Everybody's like congratulating everyone and affirming everyone on the wins, big and small. So that's also a powerful part of being in that community.
Thank you.
Yeah.